Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into what I like to call the 4:30 a.m. superpower. Look, we've literally all been there, right? You set your alarm the night before, you've got the absolute best intentions, and you're totally determined to conquer the day. But when that thing actually rings, yeah, the real struggle begins. So let's break down a 6-step system from our source material that's going to make waking up early consistent, entirely possible, and honestly, surprisingly painless.
Okay, so why do 5 minutes turn into 2 hours? We all know the trap. The alarm goes off, it is pitch black outside, and your groggy brain starts, negotiating for just 5 more minutes. And hey, it sounds perfectly reasonable at the time. But those innocent 5 minutes, they almost always morph into a massive 2-hour snooze fest. By the time you finally wake up, the morning is just gone, and you're hit with that heavy, familiar wave of guilt before your feet even touch the floor.
But here is the absolute most liberating truth of this entire process. You aren't lazy. You just lack a system. Seriously, the guilt you're feeling, it's based on a complete myth. Dragging yourself out of a warm bed when your body is practically begging for sleep, that isn't about raw willpower. It's definitely not some genetic trait you're supposedly missing. It is actually about having the right chronological strategy. So we're going to replace that morning guilt with a structured routine that gently tricks your brain and body into getting moving.
And interestingly enough, that strategy actually begins the night before. Because if you want to win the morning, you absolutely have to win the night. Just think about it for a second. A messy night routine, like scrolling endlessly through social media or going to bed with a million racing thoughts, that makes morning discipline virtually impossible. You are literally setting yourself up to fail before the alarm even goes off. The true foundation of a 4:30 a.m. wake-up is a disciplined evening routine.
So this comes down to 3 really specific steps. First up, put your phone away 30 minutes before sleep. Fun fact here, the blue light from your screens literally tricks your brain into thinking the sun is still up, which just slams the brakes on your natural sleep cycles. Second, dim the lights in your room to kickstart your melatonin production. And third, physically write down tomorrow's plan in a notebook. Emptying your thoughts onto paper instantly calms your subconscious. That way, you aren't waking up trying to make complex decisions while you're still, half asleep.
But even with a solid plan written down, you have to ask yourself a crucial question. What is your strong reason? Let's be real. Absolutely nobody voluntarily leaves a warm, comfortable bed at 4:30 in the morning without a highly compelling why. When that alarm rings, your half-asleep brain is going to demand a reason for this supposed torture. If your answer is vague, yeah, you're going right back to sleep. You need something that actively pulls you up, whether that's a dedicated morning workout, some quiet reading time, or maybe chipping away at a dream project.
Now, when that exact moment of truth arrives, you need to play what our source calls the smart alarm game. The absolute worst thing you can do is keep your phone right next to your pillow. No way. Put it completely across the room. The physical act of standing up and walking forces your body to break that spell of deep sleep. And hey, swap out that standard anxiety-inducing beep for a highly motivational song or even an inspiring audio quote. Hearing something positive right out of the gate gives your brain an immediate jolt.
All right, once you're on your feet, the clock is ticking. Those very first 10 minutes completely dictate whether your day is highly productive or just totally sluggish. Here's the exact timeline you want to follow. At minute 0, you walk across the room to turn off the alarm. And remember, do not check your notifications. Just don't do it. At minute 2, immediately drink a huge glass of water. And by minute 5, turn the lights on brightly and do 10 jumping jacks, or just aggressively pace around the room to wake up those muscles.
The science behind this routine is just beautifully simple. Water plus light plus movement equals an instant energy boost. Think about it. After hours of sleep, drinking water immediately rehydrates your brain. Flipping on the lights stops those remaining sleep hormones right in their tracks. And the movement, that gets your blood pumping. It is basically a biological cheat code that signals to your body that the sleep phase is definitively over. Now, there is a massive misconception we definitely need to clear up here. Waking up at 4:30 a.m. is never about sacrificing your sleep. It's actually entirely about sleeping better. To pull this off safely, you really need to keep your room cool, make sure it's completely dark, and maintain a fixed bedtime. Oh, and there's a neat psychological trick from the source material too. Instead of dreading the early alarm when you close your eyes, try visualizing yourself waking up full of energy. Your brain actually reacts surprisingly well to that specific positive command.
But let's be realistic for a second. You are building a completely new habit, and you are occasionally going to mess up. Everyone sleeps in sometimes. But the golden rule of building any discipline is this: never miss twice. If you hit snooze and fail today, honestly, forgive yourself and let go of the guilt entirely. But commit to waking up tomorrow. Bouncing back the very next day without punishing yourself is what actually solidifies the habit long-term.
So you might be wondering, how long until this actually feels normal? 25 days. That is the magic number to keep in mind. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. Your body is definitely going to resist. But it actually starts adjusting to the early schedule in just 2 to 3 days. If you can push through that initial friction and maintain this cycle for 20 to 25 days, the discipline totally ceases to be a struggle. It just becomes part of who you are.
To make those 25 days actually stick, though, you have to actively shift your mindset. Don't let your brain view 4:30 a.m. as some kind of horrible punishment. You have to trick it into seeing a reward. And you do this by linking your morning to things you genuinely love. A peaceful, quiet cup of coffee, listening to your absolute favorite music, watching the sunrise. When you start associating waking up early with these quiet, joyful moments, it shifts from feeling like a chore to feeling like a daily blessing.
Ultimately, waking up early isn't just an act of willpower, it truly becomes a superpower. I mean, just imagine a time when the rest of the world is completely oblivious, fast asleep, and you are awake, energized, and working on your biggest dreams in absolute silence. It is really about claiming a quiet, highly productive pocket of the day that gives you a massive advantage in life, literally before anyone else has even opened their eyes.
So, you now have the 6-step blueprint. You know how to prep your night, define your strong reason, play the smart alarm game, and truly master those crucial first 10 minutes. The only question left is, will you join the 4:30 a.m. club tomorrow? The system is ready and waiting for you. Are you going to set it up tonight, or will you let tomorrow slip into another 2 hours of accidental sleep? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and good luck conquering that alarm clock.